In today's video, we're going to talk about one of my favourite subjects, reviews. So reviews are incredibly important to companies, especially small businesses, for the simple fact that it gains traction so people can find us that little bit easier, so we can better serve future customers. Two, it gives an honest opinion of how the customer feels they've been dealt with and treated by the company, and also the quality of their products. So when people are searching, they then know what to expect when buying a product from themselves. So I've written a few things down here because there's a few points I don't really want to miss. So I'm going to kind of follow this structure. So what are our three review platforms? We've got Trustpilot, which is probably our main one. We've got Google and we've got Facebook. Like I said, Trustpilot is probably our biggest platform. And last week we actually hit our 1,000th review. So we've been a Trustpilot partner for 2 years. We probably only had about 200 reviews before that. And since being a Trustpilot partner over the last 2 years, we've now just hit our 1,000th review. So that's not too bad in the last couple of years. So up to date on Trustpilot, we've got a total of 1,023 reviews. Out of that, 96% is 5-star. Just 3% of our reviews are 4-star. And with just 1% of our reviews being 3-star or less. So why do we get so many 5-star reviews? The simple fact is that we have good products, we've got good service, we really understand our customers' needs. Like I always say in every video, the difference becoming to us from a local mobility shop is we're an actual specialist. What that means is we've got the range of products, we've got the add-ons, and we understand our customers' needs. We understand their disabilities, we understand what questions to ask when we're qualifying them, so we can better cater for them. The other thing we have is we've got over 1,000 spare parts, so if a customer ever needs anything, we can get them back on their feet and in their chairs as quickly as physically possible. Most companies that you'll deal with, they're very happy to sell you a chair, but they're not very happy to, or when it comes to the aftercare, they can't deal with it in a very professional, very quick way. So that's mainly why we get a lot of our 5-star reviews. It's basically just good quality products, good service and great aftercare. And we've got a very good brand reputation in the UK. Right, now, the interesting one. Why do we get some of our 1-star reviews? So there's lots of reasons here, and I'm going to be brutally honest with all of them, including doing myself a disservice in this as well. So a lot of the reasons we get the 1-star reviews is because you have to remember, we're dealing with some of the most vulnerable and some of the oldest customers and people in the UK. So a lot of the reasons are when people come to us with an idea of what they want in their head, what they want isn't always what they need. And a lot of customers really get their back up when they've gone to doing all the research and they've come up with, I don't know, wanting a very lightweight chair or something like that. And we basically tell them that, let's say the scenario is they're 20 stone in weight, they've got dogs and they want to do dog walks and they want to go on gravel paths and things like that, but they want to have a lightweight chair so their partner can lift. If we try and explain to them that we won't sell them a lightweight chair because we know that they're going to end up returning the chair, which will mean they'll have to pay the returns cost, we explain all the reasons why, but they still say, well, I can go get this chair from someone else. And we say, look, do you know what? If this is going to be how you're going to be, then you can go to someone else and get a chair. We would much rather lose a sale, we do this all the time, than sell someone the wrong chair. The amount of people that we refund when they've ordered a chair off the website, we then go to qualify them, and what they need doesn't match the chair that they've ordered, and they won't listen to us, and or they start getting funny with us. We refund people probably twice a week from this, like it's a normal thing. And a lot of our 1-star reviews do come from this because what people think they want is not what they need, and they don't want to hear otherwise. So that's one of the main reasons we get our 1-star reviews. The other reason we get them is I'm a very straight talker. As you know in all my videos, I call a spade, maybe I'm a little bit autistic, you know, whatever. But if there is treat people like you like to be treated yourselves, and if someone's rude to me on the phone, then I will just refuse to do business with you. Like, speak to us nicely and we'll speak to you nicely back. If you look at 1,000-hour reviews, 5-star, they probably name dropped me and about 500 of them saying it was great to deal with me. I'm a really nice person and I would do anything for my customers, and sometimes this is where that line gets a bit like blurred out, because I want to help customers so much, and if they don't want to then be helped, it can get quite frustrating. And then if they start arguing with me and I'm like, do you know what, all I'm trying to do is help you, and then they're like, oh, why are you being so controversial? And like, do you know what I mean? It's because the passion's there, because it's my own little baby, this business, that sometimes things just get a little bit blown out of proportion, and they don't want to listen to us, and then they say I'm being aggy when I'm not. I really just want them to listen to me, and I just want to help them. So that's another one. So I'm doing myself a disservice to this business, and actually something that we put forward moving forward is we're growing a lot in the last year or so. We're now a team of 6. We were a team of 3. So I've actually got someone that's now come in to deal with all complaints, all customer service, all reviews, and anything like that. So I'm staying fully out of that from now on, because even though when my colleagues can't resolve something and then it gets passed on to me to make the final decision, all the customer then remembers is that they dealt with me last and they're not happy with the situation, and I'm basically the one that finishes with it. So from now on, even if I can help 9 times out of 10 with resolving things, and I don't want it times out of 10, I'm not going to get involved with the resolving process at all moving forward. So hopefully we'll receive less 1-star reviews. Another reason why we receive a lot of 1-star reviews is actually from competitors. Believe it or not, especially in this industry, it's incredibly competitive, and so many of our competitors leave us fake 1-star reviews just so we don't have so many 5-star reviews. And it's a dog-eat-dog world, and it's really not very nice. The other times we get a lot of 1-star reviews is from people that aren't even customers, they're friends of customers. So if a customer says, oh, they've done this or they've done that, or we asked a customer, have you used the product, which we're completely entitled to, and then they say, no, we haven't used them, but we get the product back in a used state. Like, we're fully entitled to ask a customer, have you used the product if it comes back looking used? And then we get their friends all going to town on us, on our social media platforms, or leaving us 1-star reviews when they're not even a customer. I mean, I even had a 1-star review from a guy that was supposed to come in for his interview the other day, and it was raining. So I said, he cancelled last minute. I said, well, if you're not coming in just because of a bit of rain, like, how do I expect you to come in if, when you start the job, if you have to be offered the job, like, I can't rely on you. And apparently I'm not allowed to ask him that, and apparently I was a narcissist and a bully for asking him that when, the other guy we had in just after him got a bus from Guildford. So if he can get a bus and get into his interview, I don't understand why the other person couldn't. And if it wasn't important for him to get into the interview, then the job obviously wasn't important. But do you know what I mean? We're getting 1-star reviews from things that aren't even related to our business. So it is really, really hard, and we try our very best. And clearly we're not doing a bad job in the grand scheme of things, especially considering our demographic. 96% of our total reviews are 5-star. I mean, that's unheard of. We're actually the second highest trusted company, not just in the wheelchair section, but in the whole of the UK mobility section, which you'll see on Trustpilot. So that's not too bad either. A lot of people there's people as well in our reviews that have called me out personally. So, called me a bully, called me a narcissist. I'm none of these things. If you ever read all of my reviews, you'll see actually, like, I got into this industry and this business because I care and I want to help people. And so far today, I've helped over 5,000 people, and it's my life's mission to help people. I'm not a bully. I'm not a narcissist. And like I said, if people rub me up the wrong way, then what I don't stand is I won't allow myself to be disrespected. So if someone's rude to me, I will tell them to stop being rude to me, or I will put the phone down. That doesn't mean I'm being rude to them back, but I also don't stand for any BS. So I think that's just me being a person. I have my morals and I have my values, and I will stick to them. I'm a man of principle. So if that makes me a narcissist and a bully, then, so be it. But do you know what I've realised? I've been doing this for 8.5 years. I'm probably one of the most known people in the whole of the electric folding wheelchair spaces and the pioneer within the industry. I've learned that you can't help everyone, and you can't be everyone's best friend. There are going to be people that leave 1-star reviews. There are going to be people that don't like you, and as long as you're doing a good job for the majority, and 96% of the time says we are, then you've got to take the 1-star reviews. But moving forward, I am removing myself from the whole of the platforms, just so we try and get even less 1-star reviews. But it is what it is. But anyway, so a little insight into our reviews. It's mainly because we just had our 1,000th review. There's a little pat on the back to us and explain about the reviews, why we get our 1-star reviews, why we get our 5-star reviews, and basically a little bit about how reviews work. But we really, really appreciate the reviews as well, because this is what has helped us grow so quickly. It's customer feedback. We actually do 5% of our whole business now in referrals, And remember as well, we do offer a really good referral scheme. So if you have bought from us and you recommend a friend, you get £50 cash back as well to either spend on LITH-TECH or to go towards servicing or whatever you want, or even just have as a bank transfer. So we must be doing something right. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, but please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.